Why would anyone want to be worshipped as Jesus on earth when you're already somebody in who's part of the elite? You're already somebody who has access to going and doing whatever it is that you want to do in life. A good example is Christopher Green doesn't just say Jesus Christ is king without implying that that's who he is, that he is Christopher Green. Christopher Green. That character, as Jonathan Kleck was lining up Christopher Greenway Morning Star Boardwalk that day, tying himself to that name. Like that's how I interpret these things. And so if you're tying yourself to that name, and at the same day Jacob Israel is tying in Barabbas along with when I went to the boardwalk, and I'm sitting there having lunch, and it was around 3-ish, after 3, Maury appears, and there was a bar, like a napkin holder. It said bar on there. It didn't have the number of the table, but it had bar. So bar, Barabbas, Will Smith turning into spaghetti, and Will Smith smacked Chris Rock, the Rock of Christ. And that whole skit was drawn out by Jacob Israel. He's the one that, because as the Rock, another character of Jacob's, he had it written where, you could slap Chris Rock. Because when certain things like that happen, Jacob Israel gets up and starts talking about it. The breaking down the entire script, the meaning of it, and all that stuff. Like within the next day or the same day, or he'll come out and explain it, because he's the one that wrote it. And he's the one that executed it. That's my belief anyway. Like as the Rock, another bodysuit, the Rock. And that was at Wildwood, Nibbles Wood, Woodaway, Wild Horses. Who's gonna ride them? Well, it's Jonathan Kleck. When I was watching the Gene Rebel channel, now again, when I say Jonathan Kleck, it's the Jonathan Kleck that is the boots on the ground guy. I'm 99% convinced through my interpretation of perceiving the what's being portrayed here, that's who that one Jonathan Kleck character is, Christopher Green. Why else would you say Christopher Morning Star and show the sign where it says Greenway? Even when I was staying at the heart of Wildwood Hotel, I think the toilet paper had green something on it, something Greenway, greenish, green or whatever. And so Christopher Green always talks about being, or he's always, look, what he's doing is he's giving Jesus Christ a bad name, is what he's doing. And that's purpose, because that's the goal from the beginning anyway. everybody gets up and discredits the name of Christ by just, I don't know, either acting a fool or like boldly. I'm not a follower. I don't consider myself Christian at all. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, as he's pretending to itch his face with his middle finger up, pointing at me as we're doing the video on October 31st, 2018. So, and then Christopher Green also being Marina Abramovic, and so she's one of the twins, the Witch of Hollywood. So now you're getting into some territory where, considering that the app even proves that they're the same people, Christopher Green, that mask, face, bodysuit is the same. His twin sister would be the Marina Abramovic character. So, you know, unless Christopher Green was a real person and he wasn't just a reptilian alien or whatever, and his sister, you know, is Marina Abramovic, or this is the same woman, so it's him. That's who he is. And then Jonathan Kleck always shows and talks about Marina Abramovic and Debbie Harry, like hair red, like red hair, like Herod, like red hair, red Esau, Asu, Emmanuel, like Esau, I saw Paul, Asu, Emmanuel. It just seems like all those names line up together, so that's who that would be. And so what I've learned, when people talk, it's usually when they talk about somebody, that's who they are. Or, you know how the beast with the two horns like a lamb causes all those to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed? Well, when I look at the stories of other people, and I even see similarities in my own life, so I'll say, well, you know what, this reminds me of that over there when this happened in my life, and this also reminds me of this over there with those people who are doing that same thing. So number one, two horns like a lamb, and speaks like a dragon. Well, he could have two horns like a lamb. He could have two witnesses. Two horns is something that, you know, it's like, can make a sound out of it. But it's also could be two, like, positions of leadership. But it could be two horns like a lamb, like he has two, you know, it's just symbolizing what he looks like, but he really speaks like a dragon. And so when I hear Jacob Israel talking, having two horns like a lamb, but really speaks like a dragon, because it's a language, definitely speaks like a dragon because I can interpret his language. And then same thing with Jonathan Kleck. So when I go with these wounded head characters, at first, the wounded head takes place, and then the beast system. So there's Enki, Enlil, and Marduk. And from what I've learned, I could be wrong, I'm not, this is just what I remember, book report, speculation. Marduk was the one that was supposed to run the earth. Enki is down here. I think Marduk was Enki's son, or Enki's, wasn't, again, it was said somewhere, Elon Musk is the son of Lucifer. Now, obviously, you're going to have somebody basically claiming to be Lucifer, and then you're going to have somebody who is Lucifer. You're going to have somebody who's claiming it, someone who's causing all those to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed, could be acting as Lucifer himself. So you could have the second beast is causing all those to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed, in a sense where Christ wounded the head of the first beast that rose up out of the sea. And then, because whether he was standing on the sand of the seashore or stood on the sand and seen a beast, John's the one that's seen the beast rising up. Or John is the Christ narrating the story, or it's that second beast being the son of Lucifer, getting all those to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Now, so Christ is the one that does the healing. He's the one that does the wounding, because he steps on the head of the serpent, bruises his heel to wound their head in the first setup. Like Stephen James has shown, an example would be, he was like the first beast rising up out of the sea, and then his wounded head happened, and it just kind of disappeared for the most part, but focused more on his other YouTube channels, mainly his main character channel, whoever that is. And then the second beast coming up, like Jonathan Clegg having two horns like a lamb, because there's two different spirits, there's two different characters at least on that one channel, if not three, but two for sure. And then one of them comes up, causes all those to worship the first one, because he's now the second beast with two horns like a lamb, causing all those to worship the first beast because his deadly wound was healed also. Whoever it is, the beast that has a deadly wound, when you're looking at it in the positive, that beast has a wounded head from Christ, and Christ is the one that healed it. And then he also can also tie in to how he has two horns like a lamb but speaks like a dragon, because he speaks like a dragon. Like he speaks, and it's the interpretation of the tongue of the dragon's language. So because the way it all can fit each slot can be, you can look at it and say, well, it could be that too. They could be playing this portion out as well. With having two horns like a lamb and speaking like a dragon. But who would he have people worshiping? The first beast? That would only make sense if he would know that beast, that the head of the wound of the head was a mental healing of basically getting rid of the parasites, getting rid of the demon that was taking over that person, that already has access to doing everything, but he wants to be worshipped as Jesus, but really his name would be Satan, because Satan has placed himself above. He will rise above the stars of hell and call himself God. And the Prince of Tyre will be saying that he's calling himself God, just like John Clegg was saying the other day. With talking about Tyre, I just haven't gotten to telling him that the whatever the Son of Man was supposed to say to him. Something like, you're not God, or you're just a man, actually. So, and it doesn't even matter if you're really look like a woman underneath of that mask, and maybe you've been reskinned, but you're a man, right? You're a man, not God. But you will say that you are God and point in your direction vehemently, and also as Satan, Lucifer. Now, I look at that as, again, the second beast causing all those to worship the first one, because the second one is acting as if that person is the top commander in charge. But when you're doing that, you're really causing all those to worship the first one. And then the way Jacob Israel's channel is set up, that channel is like, his channel will never be taken down. That's how I feel about it. It's that type of a channel where it's not like he's saying the things that Jonathan Kleck is saying, or the when you look at it, and he talks too much about penises and vaginas and all that stuff, and then they say that he's perverted the word. But then when I'm saying it, explaining it, it's not perverting the word just because I'm talking about those things. I'm showing you what the hidden secrets really are, and they have been perverted because that interpretation was being used, that, like being resurrected or insurrected, and your tree of life, and being standing in the holy place, and being filled with the Holy Spirit, and spirit cooking, because this is the same woman, Christopher Green, Marina Abramovic. Christopher Marina Obama Greenovic. So all those tie-ins, and when it's either one or two things, either Jacob Israel truly is Elon Musk, that's his channel, and Elon is the son of Lucifer, and the son of Lucifer would be pretty much just like Lucifer, really, because all those to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed as his son. So Enki and Marduk. But I got to look back into it a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And so what Jacob has is, he has that, that Neuralink. It's not like he had it, I don't think he had it implanted at some point. I just believe that's how he was created. He watches my videos, and instead of sitting there through an hour, his brain, the way his system, the way it works is, as soon as you push that button and watch my hour-long video, it's downloaded in a split second. Now you just watch. Now you have the memory of watching my video for an hour within a second. And that's how that works. So it's either he is actually Elon himself, and Elon would be the son of Lucifer, or he's not, and he's just getting people to worship Elon, the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. So he could be like the second beast because of the system itself, the beast system. Remember the woman that she's riding the beast system, she's riding the beast. She is riding the system. And it just seems like, I remember a couple years ago, Derek Bros said, it's going to seem like one person is going to be in charge of everything. The Antichrist is going to rise up, and it's going to seem like that one person has all the authority. And it just seems, again, like Jacob Israel has that authority, but it also seems like Jonathan Kleck does, but it also seems like Derek Rose does, but it also seems like Stephen James does. It just always seems like, and then what if they were all the same person? That would be pretty disappointing, huh? Everybody I'm talking about is really the same one person, Satan. I prefer that it would just be a bunch of different people that I found, but I mean, whatever. It's just, point is, that second beast rises up from out of the earth. You could say it's the angel of the bottomless pit. You can say that it's Apollyon, it's Satan himself. But who's the first beast then, whose deadly wound was healed? And why would the second beast cause everyone to worship the first one? It kind of seems like he submits to the first beast as if he's not the most important beast on the planet. So the second one would be the deputy, I guess, causing all those to worship the sheriff who was shot. The sheriff was shot, but not the deputy. So if the sheriff was shot, could have the wounded head. The deputy, Lucifer, could be causing all those worship the first beast. But it could also be the son of Lucifer, causing all those to worship. And then I bet you didn't think of this one. The head of Christ. A crown of thorns. A wounded head. In a literal form, a crown of thorns will wound your head. It'll dig in your head. Your head will bleed. You'll have wounds from it. You're still gonna live, but you'll have a wounded head. Then there's also another wound to the head, and that is when they put the crown of thorns around his head, in a spiritual sense, they were trapping him. They were putting him in a prison. And then once he finally thought for himself, his deadly wound, because it's a crush, it's a blow. When everybody turns against you and they kill you, that's kind of messed up, don't you think? I mean, I'm sure that kind of, it didn't feel so good, did it? And then the wounded head, so living, and then so what that does is, considering he would be a beast rising up out of the sea of humanity, and rising up, then the second beast, who's in charge of like the main top YouTube channel that's been up consistently, and because again, the Pharaoh would be, and that makes total sense what Jacob is saying, the Pharaoh, oh well, there wasn't even one hold up, just leaving work early is easier. The Pharaoh would be like the guy in charge of like Elon Musk, like a very powerful, someone that can just snap his fingers and things get done on planet Earth, being the Pharaoh. Well, that would be pretty cool if the Pharaoh was Jacob Israel, wouldn't it? But it always seems like it's Jonathan Kleck, really, the Pharaoh. Just seems like that down here. But then again, where does Derek Rose fit into all this? Because it just seems like he's just in the wings waiting for because he doesn't have to do much. Did a lot in the beginning when I showed up, but lately it wasn't, it's just, you gotta, he's doing other things like running the planet, you know, like things like that. But either way, it doesn't really matter, because one of you are. I know I got the family. You know why? Because you two used my footage that I did at the art museum. They made videos out of it 30, 40 years ago. So why don't we talk about that? I mean, really, that's what we need to talk about. I don't care who the Pharaoh is. I don't care who Joseph is, second in charge, third in charge, Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, many Tekels, writings on the wall there, Barabbas. It doesn't really matter. You know why? Because at some point, we need to discuss, like on Jacob Israel's show. I would hop on his show and I would like to discuss, as he would have some of the clips, willing to already be talking about it and saying, yeah, it's very strange, Robin, that, I mean, I gotta admit, your footage is identical to U2's footage that was played. And it was like for 17 minutes, and every video just had the same shape, angle, size, color scheme. I mean, it was amazing to me how something like that happened. And then let's discuss how that happened. And then that goes into the time travel thing that people would just, they can't grasp, because I couldn't either in the beginning. So, you know, with everybody trying to be Jesus and acting like this and acting like that, and they're already part of the elite, and like Christopher Green, and you can go and do whatever. Why do you want to be worshipped as Jesus Christ when you're not? Like, I can understand down here on earth, Jesus walking the earth, wanting things to change because he actually has to live on earth in flesh form with no advantage from anybody. So I can see why you would want to be known as that Christ figure, and whatever it takes, you got to go get nailed to a cross and die and then be freed. Then so be it. But at least on earth, he's willing to die. Unlike Christopher Green. You're not willing to die, are you? Unless you're willing to... Unless Bono really did walk... he didn't turn around and he kept walking into the ocean and drowned it and died in Satan, and then, you know, then you get to own the... You get to... Basically, it's like you have access after that. Once you die in Satan and you give his light, you give him your life, then it's like you own the world. You get to do whatever you want. So I don't know why you guys want to be worshipped as Christ when you already have access to going and doing everything, and you know you're lying anyway. So, but maybe you think you are, but you're not, because you would have to be somebody on earth that's not part of the beast system. You don't have a serpent extension. You didn't invert anything. There's nothing. Your God isn't your belly. You try not to eat too much either. And then so, with Christ being the beast, a wounded head, he would have the beast, the second one, cause all those to worship the first, and they would make an image. Now, the beast is a man, right? 666. Not a woman, not a male, female, but a man. A man. And then, so the second beast is causing everybody to worship the first beast, because his deadly wound was healed. So, other than that, there's really nothing else to even be interested in talking about on any other channels. And for those of you that, I think there was one commenter in the last video she said, what he said was, unwatchable. Like, I can't watch this. Think of a Starfire or Star Spitfire or something. For anybody that can't watch my videos, or for anybody that's assigned to me as an agent and has a negative thing to say, or if you're just a regular person, whatever you, at this point, my videos are to the gods. It's not to anybody else on this earth. It doesn't really matter who can or cannot watch, because I make a video and then as soon as it's uploaded, someone like Jacob can push his Neuralink button and downloads my information in a nanosecond. So it's really for the gods, the ones that run the planet, the system, the universe. It's to them. Because I'm past talking to the regular people, because where we're at now with what's been going on in my life, with the things that I've seen, it's beyond human comprehension. And I'm a human as well as others, as far as I know. In my mind, I can't go past the fact that I can be watching, I can turn on the X app, record something, and it's not like I do it all the time, and I wouldn't even know where to even do it. That's why I haven't done it. And the last time I did it was, you see what happened down at the boardwalk. And for those of you that have eyes to see, which are the gods, because that's really, when you say like those have eyes to see, it's the gods. And it's, if there's a handful of you that can actually see and believe but not be able to comprehend, same thing that like me, I can't fully comprehend how I can understand putting on the X app and then putting on a pre-recorded video, and somebody's going to show me something, what I'm going to see before I see it, like Jacob did down at Wildwood. But for me to show the person, and then as I'm showing you that person from the past and I'm in the present time, that person is going to show me what I'm going to do with basically like moving him around in the video, like moving down and then hitting the Barbie. And because I couldn't have, it's like, well, you already did it before. That's how we can replay it. That's how we already know. Your life has already been played out. Just like it says in the Bible, God knows your every move, your thought, and everything. So why is it a surprise? Well, it's a surprise because how can I possibly show you on my video, and then I'm going to move you down to the bottom left-hand corner to show the B and the E as you're talking about Barbie and Barabbas on the boardwalk, where in the same day, Jonathan Clark showed you Christopher Green, Morning Way. I am how is it that you can tell me what I'm going to do as I'm showing you in a video through the X app? That part I can't comprehend whatsoever, because it's like, yeah, I did this before, it's already been recorded, but how did you know I was going to do that to you in the video and move you around? It's like, you can tell me what I'm going to do. I don't know. So that would be the only thing we're talking about, really. Hopping on Jacob Israel's show and going over actual clips, or even Derek Bros, going over actual clips of Mayan and looking at them. Like when I'm at the art museum, in the bookstore, mainly the bookstore was pretty telling. The shape, the shadow, the color scheme and everything. And the hole in the head, that was like pretty damaging to Satan's kingdom right there. But even if I could go hop straight on Satan's channel himself and we can talk we can discuss this about how what had happened, and then how does it go deeper into what this time traveling thing is, and what this matrix system really is, and where exactly are we as we're plugged into the matrix. Like, Derek Bros absolutely knows, among a few others, but as in controlling the matrix system itself. You know exactly where we're actually at. Like, where is our actual brain? Where's it at? Where is our brain and our eyeballs? Is it in a jar somewhere? Do we actually have a body? Or do we just think we have a body because we believe we've been incapacitated from birth, whenever that was, and we're just placed in another body, and we don't even know that we died before and we're placed in another body. And then whatever we're eating is, we're not eating anything. Nothing is actually real, but it seems like it is. I feel like that's more along the lines of, only because this year I went to the Philadelphia Art Museum and I did footage that was identical to YouTube songs. Even though I pushed the pause button, random shuffles, listening through commercials, and the next scene lines up with me walking live with my wife in the art museum on her birthday, 3/23/2023. And she didn't even get to unravel her birthday present yet, because you guys that control the matrix haven't actually spoken up and told her directly that this is what happened, because she doesn't have the effect that I have. Nobody is really walking around Earth with the same spirit that I have, because I went through something that is unexplainable, but yet it's there. It's impossible, but yet it happened. So, and it brings me back to, if you can't watch my videos, or it's unwatchable, and which most people lie anyway, because they're assigned to my channel and they're going to watch the next video. It ain't for you. It's for your bosses. That's who it's for. That's who my videos are for. I used to be concerned about what people thought. I used to care about the comment whenever there was a negative one, or respond in a fleshly way. But, obviously you watched, and you're going to keep watching. And for whatever reason, people are assigned to watching my channel. They have to. So usually people say things like that because they're assigned to it. They don't want to watch. That's why. But for those of you that appreciate the work that I do, thank you. And to the gods, why don't we discuss my actual video footage from the Philadelphia Art Museum, as you have clips that you are going to show on your channel, and we're going to break it down together. That, to me, would be worth hopping on someone like Jacob Israel's channel, or even Derek Bros, because they're really the only two that I would have the possibility of appearing on. Because Jonathan Click doesn't do live streams, and he's not taking guests and things like that nature. And Jacob Israel is the channel that seems like the beast system, because he's able to, because it's the system. He knows where it's going. He knows exactly what it all is. And in that way, I can, like, let's have that known. And then, you know how you condition people to, we were conditioned to the mask ordeal, and the getting the vaccine, and so conditioning people to see things, and then the more you talk about it, the more people get conditioned into understanding it. So we should start getting people conditioned to seeing the most important thing that's ever happened on the planet is a revelation of capturing a moment in time that has already been recorded and used in music videos 40 years ago, even though I just recorded it this year. I think that's the most important thing in the universe to talk about. It's more important than the Vatican as a snake. All right, so the Vatican is a snake. That's great. Well, when I went into that snake, that Vatican landscape art museum, the serpent was in there and he met me. And I would like to discuss that publicly and stop keeping it a secret. Let's explain how Bono used my footage 2 months ago in his music videos 30 to 40 years ago. Let's talk more about that, and let's bring acknowledgement to it, and then let's really get that to be understood that it's true. It's absolutely true. This is what happened. Now we're going to explain to the public how it happened. Then people like my wife could start to understand it. And then on top of that, let's make that manifest into reality where, because it's now true, my royalty checks need to start coming in. And then with my life, with that manifesting in my life, well, then now me and my wife, we can go and retire and live our life in peace and comfort wherever we want, because apparently I had already done this before. And it was used by Bono, and he tried to keep it a secret. It's not a secret anymore. It's a fact. And I believe the gods, the ones in charge of the YouTube platform, should invite me on their show, and we should talk about this. And you should have some of your own clips of the most important parts that I've shown. And then let's get these checks written out. That way I can start to live my life the way that, in this matrix system, the way that the gods have lived theirs. I actually put in work. I'm not looking to be worshipped by anybody. Just show the truth and let them have their own mind to do whatever they want. But let's make that a real thing where my life proves it out now. It proves it out because you see where I'm at right now? I don't really want to be here at all. Every day to do this until what? Until I can't really work anymore? It's not the way it works around here on this planet. In my matrix world, I'm going to do something about it. So this is what I'm doing. I'm going to talk my way into it. At some point, time's up and it really does happen. So the last video Derek Bros just did, it was like 4 minutes, similar to the one he did three videos ago. 10 days or 8 days after I went to the art museum, and he's showing the art museum, saying nothing's a coincidence. I think it's more appropriate for me and Derek Bros to really talk about that situation, and then have Jacob Israel chime in, maybe on the same show, talking about the same thing, and not denying it, not acting like it's just an unusual thing. No, being like, yes, that is absolutely what that is. Now let's explain how that's possible, Robin. Oh, and by the way, we're going to get those checks to you immediately. And that way you can just go on the road and do your own show with talking to the gods of the earth and all the important people. And not just talking to them, but getting them to see the same thing that they already know. And let's talk about that publicly. And then you can make up your own mind as to who I am and why I'm here and what I'm doing, what I've shown. And for it to be confirmed by the gods of the universe. Yeah, I think that would be pretty important. So to conclude, I think the best thing to talk about is the Philadelphia Art Museum. I don't really want to talk about anything else to anybody. I don't do small talk. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of trying to show my wife anything. She's not going to be able to see it unless it's confirmed by the gods. And then our life proves it out, where unlike Christopher Green over there in Hawaii, being born, with advantage or whatever, being born with zero advantage and then finally getting advantage, that sure is going to be sweet. No matter what my wife is part of or not, she still deserves to live the same type of life that I'm going to live because of the work that I put in. Apparently you guys picked me from the beginning, so yeah, did I live this life out before? Apparently. And they were all my decisions. And what the Matrix system decided to do was take my footage and use me and follow me around without giving any recognition as to what I'm really doing. So I think time's approaching quickly to get those things done and start making the truth a reality. And then in my life, making that manifest